Hello there. Today I'm going to show you the Space Explorer 3D mouse by 3D Connection. This 3D mouse is a 6-axis controller which allows you to move about in 3D space very easily. As you can see here, I have Google Earth open. I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how it works. And there are a lot of buttons around here, and I'll explain those a little bit later in the video, but the main part of this is this cap right here. And this is what allows you to move around in 3D space. So it's called a 6-axis controller. So watch this. If I take this cap and I push down on it, you'll see that we zoom into Earth. If I pull up on it, we zoom out. If I turn it right, the planet turns right. If I turn it left, it goes left. I can also tilt it and push it forward and backwards and side to side. So as you can see, you only have to touch this just a little bit to get it to move. Now if you combine all of these directions at once, you can really fluidly fly around in 3D, and I'll show you. I'm going to take us down into Boston. So I'm just going to grab a hold of this cap, not using any of the buttons, and I can just combine my tilt, pan, and zoom and fly us right into downtown Boston. This is hands down the best way to experience Google Earth. It's so easy and so intuitive. It may look a little intimidating, but I guarantee you, if you spend maybe a minute or two with this, it'll become second nature to you. So this is great. I can set us right down in the street. We can drive around, twist it to look around, push down to go right down on the highway here. And if I want to fly to a different part of the city, I can just pull up, look down a little bit, fly right over. Very cool. So I don't use Google Earth all that much. This is a lot of fun and games for me in Google Earth. What I do use this a lot in is SketchUp, and I'll show you that. So here I have a 3D kitchen. The Space Explorer makes it really easy to navigate around this kitchen. I use this a lot for presentations. So when you have a completed model and you want to walk a client around it, just like it was in Google Earth, you can take this cap and you can push it around and walk around your model. And walk up to our kitchen sink here, take a look around. Maybe turn around and see what our island looks like. View from the island, view of the rest of the room. So really easy, really intuitive for walking around. It certainly beats the old using the wheel mouse to sort of pan and zoom around. This is much more fluid and smooth. It's also great for modeling too. Now let's talk about the buttons that are on here. There's a couple different models of this. There's the Space Navigator, which just has the cap and 2 buttons on it. This one has a lot of different buttons built in. So over here we have Shift, Alt, Control, and Escape. And as a SketchUp user, you know these ones are used all the time for modifying commands. We've got a 1 and a 2 button here, which you can map to whatever shortcuts you want. There's a plus and a minus over here, and this increases and decreases the sensitivity of the movement. I use this a lot. You can sort of dial it down a little bit if you're in really close, so you don't overshoot your target. And then if you have a big space to move, you can just hit plus a couple times and then it'll move a little bit faster. There's also a panel and a fit button down here. Fit will zoom your entire model. That's pretty handy. And panel brings up this little settings panel here, and there's different modes that you can use this in. Object mode turns it into a mode where you're sort of grabbing a hold of your object with the cap and you can rotate it around that way. I find that's only good for when you're working on really small models. Like for example this cabinet here, I can kind of go in object mode and spin it just as if I was holding into it. It's not really good for navigating bigger spaces like a kitchen. I like camera mode the best because you can fly in and walk around, and almost all the time I use this for modeling. There's some buttons over here called T, F, L, R, and 2D. T is by default mapped to top, F is front, and then left and right. I find those are only really good for modeling exteriors of buildings. I've actually remapped most of my keys. I have my 1 and my 2 keys set to my most common drawing tools. So 1 is the line tool. If I push that, I can start drawing with the mouse and hold shift and lock my inference here and make a shape. I've got 2 mapped as the rectangle tool, so I can really quickly draw a rectangle tool. T is my move tool. L is my push-pull tool. So I can really quickly push-pull these shapes here. F is my erase tool. And I've got R as my paint bucket tool, so I can really easily paint objects. Another really great use of this tool is being able to rotate and move around mid-command, and I'll show you an example of that. So I've got this crown here that I've started drawing, and I want to run this crown around the rest of the soffit here. Now, you could do this without the Space Navigator, but it's a combination of using the Follow Me tool and using the keyboard and panning and zooming. I'm going to show you how fluid it is just using the Space Explorer. Watch this. I'll click my Follow Me tool and get this started here. Now, using the mouse and just holding it on there, I can take the Space Explorer and just drive around the whole room, around all these corners, and change my view dynamically without ever having to tap a key or lift my hand off of anything. And there we go. I've got my molding drawn. So the Space Navigator or the Space Explorer, really useful. It's definitely going to increase the speed that you're modeling. You'll find that you're using your hands a lot less. You can just keep one hand on this and one hand on the mouse, and you can just model really fast and really easy. Highly recommend you check it out. Both products are great. I'm definitely really liking being able to have the shortcut keys, and sometimes I wish I could have a few extra shortcut keys. One other thing to note that I really like about this over the Space Navigator is the Space Navigator, like I said, only has just the cap and 2 buttons. It doesn't have this big armrest that goes around here. And maybe I'm a little overzealous with this thing, but I find sometimes when I'm doing quick movements on the Space Navigator, I pick it up and move it on the desk. With having this palm wrist rest here, it really keeps the unit really stable, so I like that a lot. The Space Navigator and the Space Navigator from Netbooks is a little more portable. If you're taking it from place to place, this thing is a little bit bulky to carry around. But again, I'm really loving the shortcut keys, so definitely check it out. Thanks for watching.